including the monthly deposits to your account.
Shot caller tells the story of Jacob Harlon, a successful stockbroker living a happy life in California with his wife Catherine and son Joshua. However, their life takes a tragic turn when, after attending a party with friends, they are involved in a fatal car accident that kills one of Jacob's friends. Although the accident was not intentional, Jacob is held accountable for his actions of driving under the influence, resulting in a 7-year sentence at the California Institution for Men in Chino. Catherine struggles with her husband's imprisonment and finds it hard to accept that their family is being torn apart. Meanwhile, Jacob, a first-time inmate, is fearful of the violence and danger within the prison, both from other prisoners and the guards. Faced with this harsh environment, Jacob begins to think of ways to survive until his release. On his first day, Jacob encounters a fellow inmate who looks weak and vulnerable. That night, he overhears the inmate being assaulted by a gang, and Jacob quickly realizes that his survival depends on showing strength. He understands that appearing weak in prison could make him a target, and that he must be brave, strong, and confident if he wants to stay safe. The following day, Jacob accidentally starts a fight with a more powerful inmate, and as a result, he is placed in solitary confinement for 30 days. His actions, however, catch the attention of Bottles, the leader of a white supremacist gang. Bottles offers Jacob protection in exchange for joining his gang, and Jacob agrees, seeing no other option. Catherine visits Jacob and tells him that their savings are running low. She plans to find a job to support herself and their son, while Jacob begins doing tasks for Bottles inside prison, such as smuggling heroin and avoiding detection by the guards. As Jacob becomes more proficient, Bottles assigns him a more dangerous mission: to kill a prisoner suspected of being a snitch. Jacob, who has never killed anyone before, faces a difficult decision. If he refuses, he risks losing his protection and possibly becoming a target. Reluctantly, Jacob carries out the murder, resigning himself to the violent reality of prison life. Though he feels conflicted after the act, he understands that survival requires him to make tough choices. As time goes on, Jacob rises in the ranks of the gang, earning the nickname Money. His appearance changes with a mustache, beard, and tattoos, marking his transformation into a hardened individual. One day, Shotgun, a fellow gang member, informs Jacob about Herman Gomez, a leader of the Serenos gang. When a gang conflict breaks out in prison, Jacob seizes the opportunity to gain Herman's trust. During the fight, Jacob kills a rival prisoner who tries to attack Herman, earning respect from the other gang leaders. However, the murder is captured on surveillance cameras, and Jacob is sentenced to an additional 9 years. Catherine, already struggling with her husband's imprisonment, becomes even more disappointed. Jacob, in an effort to protect his family, cuts off contact with Catherine and their son, urging them to move on without him. Afterward, Jacob is transferred to Corcoran State Prison, a maximum security facility for the most dangerous criminals. There, he learns about Redwood, a powerful inmate, and discovers that the true leader of the prison is the Beast, the bullet caller of one of the world's most influential gangs. The Beast is kept in a separate cell due to his extreme danger. Jacob, determined to meet him, provokes a fight with a dangerous inmate. Jacob's plan succeeds, and the Beast, impressed by Jacob's resolve, orders that Jacob be brought to him. The Beast runs his gang with complete control, both inside and outside prison walls. He recognizes Jacob's potential and promotes him to second in command. After serving a reduced sentence, Jacob is finally released, but the man he has become is far different from the one who entered prison. Knowing that his release from prison is imminent, Jacob is tasked by the Beast with arranging an arms deal with the Serenos gang. Despite his reluctance to accept parole, Jacob concedes after the Beast threatens his family. Upon leaving prison, he is greeted by Shotgun and other gang members who had been released years earlier. Shortly after his release, Shotgun takes Jacob to a party, but the celebration is interrupted by a sudden attack targeting Jacob. The assailants remain unidentified, leaving Jacob increasingly cautious of those around him. The following day, Jacob meets Herman Gonzalez, another former inmate, to discuss the arms deal between the Beast and the Serenos. In a secretive move, Jacob visits his wife Catherine and gives her money, despite her objections. Jacob insists she take it and departs quickly, knowing that his presence puts her and their son, Joshua, in danger. Although he yearns to return to his family, Jacob realizes that his involvement with the gang makes it impossible. When Catherine and Joshua later visit Jacob's house, he forces them to leave before they are noticed by the gang. This painful decision strengthens his determination to create a plan that ensures their safety. Meanwhile, Jacob's parole officer, Ed Kutcher, discovers details about the arms deal between Jacob and the Serenos. Unbeknownst to Jacob, Shotgun had leaked this information out of jealousy, resenting Jacob's growing influence and trust within the gang. As Jacob investigates further, he learns that Shotgun was also responsible for the earlier attack on him and had been hiding weapons to sell for personal profit. Jacob confronts Shotgun, ultimately killing him and taking his phone. The phone reveals evidence of Shotgun's secret dealings, including the location of the arms deal. Jacob uses this information to alert the police, sending them the coordinates via Shotgun's phone. On the day of the deal, law enforcement and SWAT teams ambush the transaction, resulting in a violent shootout. Jacob is arrested during the raid and returned to prison. Jacob is offered a full pardon if he agrees to testify against the Beast, but he refuses, knowing that cooperating with the authorities would endanger his family. Back in Corcoran State Prison, the Beast becomes enraged upon learning of Jacob's betrayal and the failed arms deal. The Beast vows to take revenge by targeting Jacob's wife and son. However, Jacob has anticipated this scenario. He secretly prepares a razor blade and steals handcuff keys from the guards, waiting for the right moment. When Robert attempts to release Jacob from his cell, Jacob overpowers him and forces him to hand over the key to the Beast's cage. Jacob locks Robert in his cell and confronts the Beast in a brutal fight. Using the razor blade, Jacob kills the Beast, solidifying his dominance in the prison. With the Beast eliminated, Jacob becomes the most feared and respected inmate in Corcoran State Prison, taking over the Beast's position as one of the world's most influential gang leaders. To ensure his family's safety, Jacob provides Kutcher with the locations of the remaining hidden weapons. Later, Jacob receives a letter from Joshua, who shares that he and Catherine have built a happy and successful life. Included in the letter are photos of their life together, which deeply move Jacob as he reflects on the sacrifices he made for their protection.